Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Bill 30-32 went up a public hearing today, and we have the authors here, Senator Limtiaco and Senator McCreadie. Senator McCreadie, the public hearing today.
I thought it was a eventful and good public hearing. I mean, you have support, you have opposition, and that's what it's for. So we learned a little from Paps Martinez and then the other gentleman,
Mr.
Javier. But at the end of the day, you know, what people were asking me today was, what is the exact cost that you guys are trying to accomplish in the savings? It's not much, $75,000 a year. You know, then you times that by 2, one term, that's $150,000. But when you add in the annual cash out leave, it's about $9,000 per term. And then you add in the $500,000 that they cut off their budget. Like he said earlier, we got a $162,000 budget per year, $42,000 per quarter. So now you're looking at a savings that makes sense. We're looking at anywhere from $800,000 in excess of $1 million in savings. And so we can earmark that or appropriate that to something like public safety, firefighters, maintenance of public schools.
Sure.
So when you look at it in that context, then the picture becomes a lot more clear. But at least what we can do now is when we go into the budget discussions and we're going to cut a department, at least we can say we have done everything as a branch of government in the 32nd legislature to cut what we can in our backyard. And now we're going to ask you to do the same,
and
if we have to.
And you're definitely probably going to do that facing the 2014.
There's some tough times coming up that we're going to have to make tough decisions.
Senator Limtiaco?
Yeah, and you know, just I'd like to remind the viewers that you know, as early as a couple of months ago, a similar bill which lapsed into law, and that was Public Law 31279, pretty much accomplished the same thing as it relates to senators, right? It was a 10% across the board pay cut. It affected senators. It affected also some unclassified positions, and of course, unfortunately, the entire spending cuts bill was the section, I believe it was Section 5, was rescinded in 543. But if you look at the voting file for what became Public Law 31279, you'll find a lot of support there. Senators actually voted for that, and it affected their pay raise. Or excuse me, it affected their pay. And if you go as early as Bill 543, which the governor signed into law late in January, which was introduced by Senator Respicio, his original bill called for the same thing. It was a 10% pay cut for elected officials. Unfortunately, that was amended on the floor, which stripped that out as well. So you have senators introducing bills which would have accomplished the same thing. You have senators that voted for what became Public Law 31279. So there is no reason why we shouldn't have support for this measure.
And we'll look at the senators who definitely voted on those two particular bills, the ones who got reelected from the 31st to the 2nd, that 32nd Guam legislature, see if their voting record will be consistent. And actually, as you said, leading by example, going into, most especially going into budget hearings, the 2014 budget hearings, and you know, it's almost assured now, especially of these tragic things that happened last night. We already hear of tourists canceling reservations. And
by the way, I'd like to offer my condolences to the families.
We definitely do. And again, gentlemen, thank you very much. And we also, again, want to send our condolences to the murdered victims of last night's tragic event, and likewise a speedy recovery, and our prayers to all that are recovering right now. And then to Guam, we are in mourning, but we'll get over this, and us sticking together. This is, again, reminding folks that this is an isolated, as the governor said, an anomaly, and we are our brother's keeper, so let's make sure we watch out for one another. Join me tomorrow morning on the Buzz, Isla 63, your tomorrow radio station, for more talk. We'll talk more about the public hearing tomorrow morning, the bill that was introduced by Senator Limtiaco and Senator McCreadie. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Talk to you tomorrow morning.